Tá ao vivo, né? My name is Raimundo Bruno. This presentation was written and recorded as an activity for the discipline of Práticas Orais. Picture this. Thousands of years from the present, it is the end of the world. Empty and lifeless buildings stretch as far as the eye can see, but there are no signs of living plants or animals. The rusting, abandoned weapons and machines laying on the ground may indicate that humanity has finally managed to war itself into extinction. In this hopeless landscape, the sight of two young girls traveling in a mini tank-like motorcycle may feel completely absurd, but this is the story that we are going to follow. Shoujo Matsuriyoko, adapted to English as Girls Last Tour, is a manga series written and illustrated by Tsukumizu, running from February 2014 and January 2018, and serialized in the online magazine Kurage Branch, and finally compiled in 6 volumes that were released by Yen Press in English, but there are no releases in Brazilian Portuguese. In 2017, it was adapted into an anime, a 12-episode anime by Studio White Fox. I chose to bring it because it's one of my favorite stories ever, and I believe anyone can give it a chance. Girls Last Tour follows the story of smart, book-loving warrior Tito, who is usually the point of view of the chapters and episodes, and very strong, easygoing, and simple-minded Yuri, who together left the settlement where they lived for probably reasons of war, reasons implied to be war between factions and from humans. Left the settlement with nothing but their clothes, some food, and their trusty cat and crab mini tank. And now they wander, for an unspecified amount of time through a huge unnamed city divided in layers. In their journey of survival through a post-apocalyptic world where they are seemingly the only humans left. Despite the seemingly bleak premise, this is a very optimistic, if a bit a bittersweet story, as evidenced by the cute, almost blob-like design of our main characters. This is, after all, what we call a Yashike story. Yashike literally means healing story, healing style story. It is a subgenre of slice of life, and it is meant to create a calm and contemplative atmosphere that heals you and drives your attention away. Girls Last Tour managed to do this through the somewhat comedic interaction between our characters, its contemplative themes, the slow pace of a story and the chapters, the episodic chapters, and in the case of the anime, a calm and relaxing and slightly melancholic soundtrack. One of the first thing that we notice throughout the story is that despite its ruined stage, the world of Girls Last Tour is not a dystopia. That is not in the popular understanding of the term. Apart from something sometimes proven to be an obstacle in itself for the girls, it has no objection, it has no malicious intent toward them. The only constant threat that Yuri and Chito faces, it comes from the fact that they are alive. And as living beings, they have urgent necessities. Their journey is primarily motivated by need of fuel, need of water, of food, of shelter from the cold, and because of this is the reason that they can't stay in a single place for long. Through the story, through the story itself, the journey itself is a justification of a story and the motivation for the girls to travel. Girls Last Two is never exclusively about surviving. Each chapter and episode contains discussions of themes from simple things like food, books, and music to more complex topics like religion, purpose, and the meaning of life itself. Ultimately, is a story about what does it mean to be alive. But curiously, it does not do it with the intention of providing a satisfactory answer to those questions, but to discuss it through the eyes of two innocent girls who just happen to be the last living humans. Most of the thing that causes them all confusion and happiness are things that we would not normally take for granted and don't give a second thought about. For example, when they are wondering what their ideal home would be, as they don't have home, as they need to be constantly moving. The things that they imagine are simple things like a room with a comfortable bed and some books and food for them to eat. In fact, this is the biggest charm of Girls West Tour. Though we don't know almost anything about the world, Chito and Yuri also don't know much about ours. And so they struggle to understand the meaning of things that they struggle to understand the meaning of things that were left behind by us, the ancient civilization, as they call it. Things like pieces of art or graves or the motivation behind the wars that drove humanity of extinctions are somewhat foreign concepts for them. Trying to compromise and understand where each piece of information go is an exchange of experience, but most of the time there will never really be a final answer, no does it have to be. What matters is the reflection process that the girls go through and how they conform the worldview to the things that they find throughout the journey. Ultimately, with the chapters and episodes, you go as the chapters and the episode go, you slowly come to understand and accept the true nature of Girls West Tour. Though the girls never, the girls ain't aimlessly traveling as they have the objective of reaching the final layer of a city they are exploring, where there may still be some food and maybe and hopefully some human groups who they can interact with. It's never clear where or how the it's never clear where or how their journey will end. At the same time, it's not that important to know how it ends. Girls Ashton may be one of stories that best illustrate saying that the concept that what truly matters is the journey, not the end. Tsukumizu's art style emphasizes this by drawing huge landscapes that, compared to the small girls, are almost crushing, almost oppressive. And it shows how small they are in the big scheme of things, right? They are just two small, young, almost children. Their mere continued existence, despite the world itself having ended, is absurd in itself. Whatever they think that they end, so as the rest humans alive, whatever they think that they may not be enough to change their condition. But that's fine. This is a story about the things that Chito and Yuri and you as the reader experience, both happy and sad, and about how that in itself gives meaning to their lives. In the end, Chito and Yuri aren't just happy; they are the two happiest people in the world. I believe everyone, this is my presentation, I believe everyone should give a chance to at least the anime that is shorter, to the Girls Last Tour, or Shoujo Matsuyoko anime. Thank you very much.